Hello and welcome to this module on chatbot conversation styles. So in this session we're going to talk around qualities of good conversation, and these are them up here. So cooperative, goal-oriented, fast, turn-based, truthful, polite. It's good customer service. It's around this is from conversational design, and highly recommend looking that up. So the quality of a good conversation, and there are nine things I want to cover around this. I'm going to go through them quite quickly. The slides are here to download, really useful to go through, but let's just cover each of them pretty quickly. So how to sound conversational. In a chatbot, these customer conversations should emulate the best elements of any conversation: personal, polite, friendly, and supportive. So notice on the background there, not over excessive use of things like exclamation marks. It's asking, it's personalized. It's saying, would you like the usual, a large pizza? Just so you know, there's a special deal there. It's cooperative, saying, oh, hey, there's this thing. Look, Brian's super excited. He's, yeah. Great, let me get the order started. It's going to go and do that task on behalf of them. So all Brian's had to do is say yeah, and it's got it. So it's really useful. So notice that there's a style there to it. It's using exclamation points, but not too many of them because that can seem inauthentic. But so it's personal and polite, friendly and supportive, and that's what that conversation there is showing between Brian and the pizza bot. So how do we do that? Well, it's using short sentences. Sounds great. Let me get that started for you. It's being positive. Let's get started. I have a couple of questions. It's going to take a minute. Rather than saying, I can't do that without some information. You know, there's a different way of phrasing things all the time. So if it's short and positive and using an active voice, no problem, I can resolve this for you is better than this will be resolved for you. This will be resolved is the passive voice. I can resolve this is the active doing, the active voice. So these three things, short sentences, being positive and active voice, are foundations of good conversations. Using contractions, it's something that a person would do. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions because it's going to take a minute. So that's useful. Select a pronoun to represent your brand agent in chat and be consistent. So I or we is totally fine. Choose one and stick with it, especially within the same chat topic. I mean, across the whole bot in general. But if you're saying we, stick with we. If you're saying I, stick with I. Choose one, get over it, stick to it. Otherwise, it gets very confusing for everyone involved. Be consistent with tone and style so the conversation sounds like it's the same agent and brand. So again, that's all these things about being positive, using the same I or we. So a good example here on the left hand side. Welcome to the store assistant. I can't make a return or purchase. You can see there's nice consistency. Whereas on the right hand side, you can see that you've got hi there is the first chat's fine. The second the tone has shifted to formal. It's also in the passive voice if you wish to be. It's a very formal tone. And then finally there's a demanding tone in the end. So it's gone from friendly to formal to demanding. Whereas in the left hand side, it's sticking through with that professional tone all the way through. Break things up, make it readable so it's scannable. Notice how easy it is to scan the information on the left than it is the information on the right. So use bullet points, use numbered lists, use hyperlinks, use bold, whatever you need to do to make it readable. Be consistent in your use of those things. So pace the conversation in short scannable units. So don't have a think about, should it be in the one message? Do you want to break it into 2 or 3 messages? What's the advantage of having one message versus breaking it up like in the right hand side there. One use for it might be the person wants to copy and paste that information out. So do you want to put it in separate bubbles like in the screenshot? Do you want to put it in one bubble, or do you want to actually link to an external piece? Maybe getting to download a document that has lots of steps in it to do stuff. So make sure that you're pacing the conversation appropriately with what you want the user to be doing. And yep, maintain a friendly tone. So like the first one, it's a bit too friendly, and then it's almost like I once got on a train in London, and the train driver, it was late, and the train driver came on the tannoy and said, I apologise for late running of this service, but it's been running late all morning. And that's like the first one, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, bills are difficult. It's like that's not what the customer doesn't want a friend to complain to. They want professional help, which is that second option. So exclamation points don't express energy. Strong writing does, especially strong verbs. So I understand you need help with your bill. Can you tell me in a few words what the issue is? And then giving them options is further helping the client, further helping the customer. So in your desire to help, avoid sounding condescending or insincerely enthusiastic, which is what the first one comes out like, right? Invite the user into the conversation by asking questions, making suggestions. If it's going off to do something, let the customer know that you're going to be a while. If Power Automate's going to go and do something to look up some data, it might take 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it takes, then let the customer know, so they're not left there hanging. Customers abandon a chat when prompts are lengthy, so keep them brief. Keep your writing simple and straightforward. Use the Flesch Kincaid grade level in Word, or Hemingway app is really good for to figure out what grade level your scripts are. Grade level means what grade school does someone need to be able to understand what you've written. A really good quote that I really like for things like this is, I think it was Benjamin Franklin, I'm not sure. I think it might have been debunked that it's not Benjamin Franklin. But there's a really great quote, which is, if I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. And that really is the thing here. Whatever you write first, you need to edit it. Take words out. Spend time on it. Every single message needs crafting. Yeah. So that's the sound and style of conversation. There is a lab here. There's no lab documents. It's just follow along here. There's just some exercises that we'll go through. So what I want to do is go through some writing tips and see how the example for each was revised using the conversational design principles that we just learnt. So of these 9 design principles, we're going to apply them in some scenarios. So this is the first. Write like you speak. So if a person in a chatbot says something like, "Here's my ID," and the ID they put in is invalid, would you? And the chatbot returns invalid ID. Is that something that a person would actually say? It might be something the computer might say, like a command prompt might say, but is it something that a human would say? Have a think about what the revise would be. Hit pause and come back. And it should look something like that. So, depending on obviously what the ID is that you're looking for, but you need ID. The revised chat looks a lot friendlier. Let's look at number 2. Use bigger words, fewer ideas. So crisp minimalism. Shorter is always better. If I'd have had more time, I'd have written a shorter letter. So here's an example. If you're ready to purchase Office 365 for your organization, contact your Microsoft account representative. How can you make that shorter? So get your editing hat on, make that shorter, hit pause, and come back for the answer. Welcome back. The answer here, of course, there's many ways to be right, but here it's got down to 5 words. Ready to buy? Contact us. Okay, there's no ready to buy, contact us. Got that down to 5 words. Bigger words, fewer ideas. Let's look at the next one. Be brief. Prune every excess word. So again, this is that same concept. So here's the example. Read it. I'm not going to read it out, but read it and then give us your revised option. Hit pause now and come back. Okay, so the revision of that is, so it's gone to a much more active tone. Create a chart that's just right for your data by using the recommended charts command on the insert tab. It's using the active voice. So it's saying in the example, it's using a passive voice as the recommended charts command recommends charts that are likely to represent your data. Well, we're here, we've swapped it around, so it's about your data. It's not about the charts, it's about your data, which is really powerful. Number 4, get to the point fast. Lead with what's important, front load keywords for scanning. So if someone's just scanning the chat quickly, they want to be grabbed by the keyword before they'll read on. So make customer choices and next steps obvious. So here's an example. Have a read of the example and then have a go at revising it, and hit pause and come back in a second. Okay, the revised for that. Notice that save time are the hook words. Save time. Oh yeah, I want to save time. Everyone wants to save time. So they'll continue reading on. And it's much easier to read that. The next steps, the steps to I know that I need to create a document, use styles, and then I can use a template whenever I want. And the final tip, friendliness. Use contractions. It's, you'll, your, where, let's. Here's an example. Have a go at revising that and hit pause and come back in a second. So the revised option there is just contracting the verb, contracting the words here, removing some unnecessary letters, and you can see there that it reads a lot more conversation, a lot more friendly. And in fact, a really good way of validating this is if you read aloud right now the example, and then read aloud the revised, you'll find the revised sounds a lot more friendlier. So always a good tip to read out the chats that you're writing. And that's it for the best practices. So we've gone through 3 layers of best practice. We've gone through topic design, we've gone through trigger phrases, and we've gone through qualities of a good conversation within the authoring canvas. Thank you, and chat to you in the next module.